Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pivot Point with Usha. Today, we have Harsha Yadav. He has spent more than 12 years in solar industry, being an installer himself, and as a consultant, we all call him solar expert. And he has installed more than 2,500 solar PV systems, both on grid, off grid, within India, outside India, in Middle East, in Germany. So he has gone global. So today, we would be discussing with you, Harsha, how the industry is working, what has been your journey, if anyone is building in solar, what they should be keeping in mind before doing that. You mentioned about Zolt Energy. If you can share some learnings and few milestones that we achieved at Zolt, that would be really helpful.
Sure, sure. So first of all, I'm really proud of the company we built with Zolt. There are a lot of people who still remember the company, even after 10, 12 years of interaction still. And it's a very memorable company for a lot of people and for a lot of reasons. Uh, and I'm not trying to pander to anybody, but I am very proud of the team we built at Salt. I had, uh, you can say, I had the fortune of actually working with very, very good high quality and high integrity individuals in Zolt, and you might also see. And I would say, we were very lucky to have that kind of people and uh, working with Zolt. And I would say that was one of my our rather I'll speak on Abhishek's behalf as well. Our biggest achievements, the kind of talent we had. And also, the happy thing is, a lot of people, as like you, a lot of people actually keep in touch with us still, right? 10 years. And they went on to actually do pretty well in terms of uh, not just in jobs, but actually setting up their own ventures or leading their own ventures. It is fantastic. So that is one of the happy memory, I would say. Secondly, a lot of customers are still in touch with us. We continue to provide service in whatever way we can to a lot of them. Now, logistically, where it's not possible, unfortunately, we refuse. We say, sir, we can't do anything, ma'am, we can't do much because our obligations are done. Now, one the proud thing I would say is we were with our customers till what we had committed and our obligations lasted. So we kept our word, even though we did need to, right? But it is for our own sanity, our own sake. And, that is something we are very particular about, and we are proud of, right?
Yeah.
Now, few things that we did, and one of the early things that we did was the focus on finance. So, in fact, we were one of the first solar companies to have an NBFC tie-up and providing loans for solar directly. Now, Bajaj Finance, at that time, Bajaj FinServ, was actually the first NBFC to do solar loans, and we actually tied up with them, and we ended up providing a lot of customers, 12-month to 24-month loans, which was actually unheard of at that time. Uh,
Yeah.
right now, the finance ecosystem is so mature, it's so well designed and provided. Now, SBI is actually approving loans within 3 days of application, which is crazy, which is very
Yeah.
good. And for all the heat, all the sarcasm that SBI gets, I think they are doing really well, at least in terms of solar. Right.
Absolutely.
Uh, yeah, so that was one big thing that we did. Now, secondly, we also did a lot of generation guarantees for our customers. Now, this was something unheard of in residential category, and we kept achieving our generation guarantees. And wherever we were not achieving for whatever reasons, we actually ended up paying our customers, keeping our promises.
Yeah.
The third innovation we also brought in was where we said we offered power plans. Now, this is residential PPAs, right? Where we were
Yeah.
fixing cost. So we were offering solar like a broadband. And so cost is on us. You only pay on a monthly rent. So solar lease. And this
Yeah.
was way back 2015, 16. And so those are the things we actually are, say, you would say one of the first in the market. And at least from what I know of, right? I don't know if other companies also did the same things around that time, but again, I'm
Yeah.
aware of what we did. Internally, we actually did. Now, this is something I would say nobody else has done. Internally, we were very proud of the organization we built because we were following a system called Holacracy of
Yeah.
providing the power directly in terms of the to the employees rather than build an hierarchy and then managing it, right? Now,
Yeah.
we had individual cross-functional teams. Individuals were provided full responsibility for their actions and consequences.
Yeah.
Um, we didn't have all these, hierarchy systems, but rather we had a proper direct person-to-person communication. We implemented a lot of systems through Holacracy. It's a very fascinating and interesting concept.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is worthwhile still pursuing in India, given what we know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was a great experiment, and I think we fairly succeeded. And obviously, there are some points of improvement we did, right? Now,
Yes.
three biggest mistakes we made at Zolt was number one, as I said, we did not invest in marketing and lead generation. We did not keep getting growth as such. As if an
Mm.
organization does not grow, it will die. And
Absolutely.
that is something I would say. So you have to keep growing.
Yeah.
And for that, marketing, branding, lead gen is very, very important, very critical. You cannot just rest on the good work, the great work you do, and start getting references. Right. So that was fun. Secondly, I would say one of the big mistakes is we also expanded to too many markets too fast. So at one point of time, we had teams in Hyderabad, in Delhi, in Chandigarh. Then we were doing projects in Nagpur, in Bhiwandi, in again a lot of places in Maharashtra, Nasik, Bangalore.
Yeah.
So these we couldn't really provide the right service to these locations also, and which is a
Mm.
failure from our side as well. So
Yeah.
solar installation right now, it is a hyper local business. I would say no, not hyper local, but at least localized business. I would say if you are starting solar and in a tier one metro,
Mm.
your operational radius should be 5 kilometers, not more than that. So pick and
Okay.
choose whichever location, but you have to first cover 5 kilometers to 10 kilometers of your
Okay.
radius. Say if you're
Mm.
in Noida, pick up entire, whichever is your best region in Noida, and then cover only that 5 kilometer radius.
Yeah.
And you have enough and more business. If you're in tier two, tier three cities, 50 kilometers radius, that's it, right? And
Yeah.
that's, you will get enough and more business. You dominate that market and then move to the next market. Just because
Mm.
you have one project somewhere, just suddenly don't go and chasing that. You will not be able to provide the right service, or you will not be actually able to differentiate and get a good premium for your business in that in a different area. So it is going to
Yeah.
be a so think of it like running your own store. and you don't want to, expand too fast with your stores without being profitable in your home base. Right? So that was
Absolutely.
a big mistake that we made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say these were the two crucial, critical things that yeah.
Yeah. I mean, later on in our lives, I think I realized that saying no to a lot of opportunities that might come in your way while you're doing something is so difficult, but it is so important because then you are saying yes and focused on what exactly you want to achieve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to have that conviction, clarity, because what's
Yeah.
happening is, again, see, this also comes back to the same part which I was telling. Because a guy, the solar entrepreneur person, is not getting enough margin, he or she is not able to get enough business in a single location, they'll start going to the other areas, which will mess up the other parts, right? Right. I think we should
Yeah.
always try. Identify a good area. It doesn't mean you are working in a market foolishly without where there is no potential or where there
Yeah.
are too many players as well, right? Identify a
Hmm.
good area.
Yeah.
You want some competition to be there. It's okay if there is some competition, but you say no to everything else and you keep focused working on that area
Hmm.
until you see that you are 70% saturated that market. And then you move to the next growth phase, right?
Right. So um, if anyone is choosing the areas to operate, then as you suggested, they can look at the competition that that area has. So that would
Yeah.
say that people are definitely going solar, and that's why a lot of
Yes.
operators are also there. So that might be a
Absolutely.
good factor. Are there any other
Absolutely.
factors that this person can look at before starting a business in this area?
Uh, a simple thing. Now, good thing about solar is you can look at it from Google Maps, right? Check Google Maps.
Yeah.
Which area are you targeting? Check if there are any solar panels on the roofs, right?
Hmm.
Do a recce. And which are the urban areas? Now, obviously, if you are in, let's say, for example, I'll tell you, now you're starting a solar company in Dwarka, may not really make a lot of sense because it's all apartments market. Actually, I might
Yeah.
be mistaken. I'm not from Delhi,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'm giving you one example that I know.
Yeah.
So if you're working in an area where there are too many apartments and not enough roofs, it doesn't make sense. So go check, do a desktop analysis. Which area has a lot of roofs, preferably independent houses, and empty roofs, right?
Yeah.
Target that. Then go physically check, see which areas are working. Also check with the government, see like where, if you're from a particular region, you know where the wealthy or middle class or upper middle class, where your target customers are, right?
Yeah.
Uh, right? And then start working from that region, right? So
Yeah.
you can always take a single colony, a block, and then expand from there, right?
Yeah.
And this is a universal example. This is not something which will only happen in India. We have worked with clients in Germany. Uh, they they are so disciplined. Well, one of the clients that we worked with, they don't even cross the road and get the customer. They said, first, let us exhaust this, right? It is not a part of that our strategy. Yeah, because again, it's not they're not so foolish also. It's a different discom. So the whole processes change across the road. So then
Yeah.
they said, no, see, right now we are not equipped for that. There is enough potential on this side of the road, and we get in this town. And then we do this, right? So look at Google Maps, look at physical locations, look at what the demographic of that location says, then start working on it, right? There are so
Yeah.
many tools available, including Google Solar, Google Roofs, Maps. Like you have softwares like Helioscope or Enact or Solar Labs. All of this can help you map out different regions.
Yeah. unlike any other product, when founders are actually picking up solar as the business, then the Reiki becomes so simple, as you said, right? They can just, on Google Maps, they can look at the roofs.
Absolutely.
And like any other product, they cannot look at Google Maps
Yeah,
and see who has gone
correct.
solar, where the potential is. So I think this is
Exactly.
one of the great advantages of being in this industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
In fact,
so after,
sorry. I was saying what we see is Hyderabad has become a gated community market right now. So
okay.
you have these huge villa projects, right? So 150
Hmm.
villas, 200 villas in a single community. We actually advise customers to look at those regions, and uh, that is only a 3 kilometer community, right? 3 kilometers, you get at least access to 2,000 to 2,500 villas in a single place, right? And you will
Yeah.
see that some villas have solar, some of them don't. That's a great market to be in, right? And one more thing I missed out is you should always also look at the policy and the tariff, right?
Hmm.
If the policy is hostile, if the policy is not supportive,
Yeah.
um, don't work in that market. Like, for example, sorry to say, but Tamil Nadu is a it's a touch and go business. Lot of You don't see a lot of good solar companies operating out of Tamil Nadu because the policy is so restrictive for top. Um,
Okay.
so you should look at locations, customer, market is ready or not. Even if the
Hmm.
market is ready, if the government is not ready, don't fight that fight. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Move on to something better, right? You
Yeah.
don't want to fight the policy.
Absolutely. And so after Zolt Energy, when did you actually got into the space where you decided that yes, now I want to help other people who are doing this business because you are obviously so good at it. I have always seen even in Zolt, like even when we had like first few customers, you were very particular, like with you, Abhishek, Sukrit, I have seen you guys would sit and you'll be like, I want to like put all my time and focus on how we can make this like a great system and not just do like just half-ass system there. So I've seen you guys and specifically you being so disciplined and putting all your energy and calculations into how we can maximize the energy generation there, at what angle we are like such small specificities you actually pay so much attention to.
Thank you, Usha. So again, see that actually helped us, and now we have close to 600, 700 systems on ground, and 10 years still they're functioning. You don't have major problems in any of the systems. A lot of them are still, with minimal maintenance, they continue to work, and I can say that another 5, 10 years they'll work continuously. And that's how it's supposed to be. We don't want the
Yeah.
systems to break after 5 years, right? So after Zolt, so this was again during COVID. That's when we decided to, see what keep Zolt stagnant and see what happens. And then I picked up some work with in Bahrain, and we installed some systems. I helped Sukrit and team over there, and I realized that there was a lot of potential in that side. And then I had to come back to India around 21, 22 due to family obligations. And I joined a company called Enact Systems. So before that, I was working with Sukrit's team in Al Moed in Bahrain. And with Enact, it's a software and for solar companies.
Mhm.
And we were actually helping a lot of these installers across the world in preparing proposals, doing designs for them. I was director of international sales for Enact, so around 2.5 years I spent there. And that's when I also realized that, as I said, the solar installer problems are universal. They are, I mean, whatever problems I faced, I see that a lot of problems are faced with the same installers in US or South Africa or Ireland or for that matter Djibouti or Australia, right? And this is exactly what I could see. And then around 2023, not 23, around 24 February, I decided to again part ways with Enact and then restart my own business around this. And that's when I started Solar Buyer. Now the things have been touch wood pretty well, and we helped a lot of solar installers and actually so there are three things that I work with solar installers, right? One is lead gen, marketing, branding, sales, so helping them grow.
Okay.
Second is what happens after they get the order. So process, discipline, uh, checklists, how does the process flow? So that is
Yeah.
something. Then the technical part, that's the second part. The third part is the technical part, like how do you do designs, outsource designs? We do any special projects. We do. I'll tell you one very uh, special project close to my heart. I'll tell you about this. And we also do a lot of engineering work for
Hmm.
the these installers. Um, so this is what we've seen that across the world, the installer problems are very similar. You know, they have very less leads. How do we generate them? Once leads come in, they don't have enough margins. How do we improve that margins? Then I'm spending too much time in recovering money, or I'm actually losing money in project to project. How do I do audit and then help you support that? So I support in all of this. Right. Now, there are some special projects I was saying. So I was working with one of my client in Australia in actually designing a pure off-grid system for a fishing community in Solomon Islands. So Solomon Islands is
Okay.
a small island. In that, there is one small island called Savo Island. Basically, they have no power there. Everything runs on diesel. There are 687 people living
Okay.
on that island. And
Hmm.
their nearest town is a 1.5 hour uh, drive, you might say, by boat, right?
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
the only way of survival for them is fishing. That's all. No tourism, no lighting, nothing, right? Everything runs on diesel. Uh,
Okay.
so our client was working with them to actually bring solar to that community, and I helped them design the entire system for that. So community solar, residential, individual off-grid system, understand their requirements. How do I actually manage that? Then can we do
Yeah.
a prepaid model? Can we do a postpaid model? Charge it? Who is the solar entrepreneur who is going to actually, invest and in charge of collecting the money? Right?
Yeah.
We also designed moving these boats away from diesel-based motors to actually solar-powered boats and then
Oh,
charging stations.
interesting.
So very interesting, you know. So you don't want again to solar to stop working the battery and after going 1 hour in the middle of the ocean, it shouldn't stop. So yeah, so you have
Absolutely.
to build,
Yeah.
right? So those things, all these considerations are very interesting, very satisfying project. So yeah, so it's been a good journey, I would say, both in terms of technical also and also operationally. I'm very happy
Yeah,
doing the
that's
way lead work. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's actually it's amazing because I can just imagine the whole island without electricity and now
yeah,
everything like first of all installing these systems at certain places so that it supports everyone
yes,
like the
yes,
whole island and and the things now that they can achieve with
uh,
solar. So,
absolutely.
I mean, it's really
Yeah,
crazy how it can just change the whole island's life. People, every
correct.
time they look at it very at smaller level, right? But now
Absolutely.
when people see the whole island has gone solar and now,
Yeah,
they can actually do a lot of things. Now I can
correct.
imagine what kind of journey they would have.
So I was also joking with the client there, you know. So now with the power, you'll start. giving internet. Now this guy, the guy who was very happy, lazing around doing his own work, fishing, and now you're asking him to scroll TikTok. Why spoil his life?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think because electricity has just entered their life, they
yeah.
would be more conscious with the
I
use.
hope so.
I
So he
hope.
said, "See, we can give the tools. Now, what they do with the tools is up to them." So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
that's a joke.
amazing.
But yeah, in terms of the impact, it's a really good impact that we could create for them. They, again, same thing.
Absolutely.
They economically they're improving. The kids can study. They can move forward in their life.
Yeah. And so this will be the final question that I really want to know. And from a person who's in solar, from solar, and all about solar. So, are there more innovations coming specifically in solar industry that people needs to be excited about, or founders can see an opportunity to start some business there? Are there such things?
Yeah, yeah. So solar is a evolving market, right? So what has happened is now solar PV system has become fairly stable, right, in terms of the work. So the cost keeps fluctuating, but tech has become stable. However, the tech keeps changing as well. Like earlier, if you remember, we used to work with, now I started, as I said, with around 100-watt panels.
Yeah.
Now we have now the bulk of the panels that we installed during 2014, 15, 16 was 250 watt peak to 320, 325 watt peak modules. Now efficiency has improved so much that you're getting the same area. You're able to fit in 620, 650, in some cases 700 watt peak as well. So the tech has moved from polycrystalline to monoperc, now TopCon. Uh, the Reliance is coming up with HJT, heterojunction technology panels, which can fit in
Okay.
720, 730 watt peak as well. Then, so that is one big major change, and you will see that it will keep evolving. So, like monoperc, we say perovskites, then there is something called Kazerites as a new material science that is coming up, right? So we
Yeah.
will see efficiencies keep on building. In terms of inverter technology, also there are a lot of changes with the heat sink. Earlier, we used to have all these cooling fans. Now everything is heat sink. They've become far more robust. They are also being very suitable for Indian weather conditions as well.
Okay.
A lot of manufacturing has shifted away from China to now everything. You can say the entire value chain is almost available in India at different costs, right? It's not still
Yeah.
equivalent to China, but then from modules to cell manufacturing to inverter structures, cables, everything is available in India. So the dependency from Europe to India or China has changed. Uh, Now, there's a lot of work happening in battery systems. So that is going to be the future defining for the next 4, 5, 10 years. So as you see again, solar curve goes in the morning. So when all the solar comes in the morning, then you're creating imbalance in the energy grid. So what
Yeah.
happens is now you need to build a robust or resilience mechanism in the grid. So
Mm.
government is now emphasizing on battery systems where you can shift that generation to throughout the day.
Yeah.
So best systems you have mega tenders to now even residential like LFP lithium ferrous phosphate tech.
Yeah.
Then there are so many other new battery tech which is coming up. Then in terms of smaller solar, you have portable solar panels. You have rolling solar, so you can just it's like plastic film, right? Then you
Okay.
have people who are in apartments, they want to go solar, they can install solar on balconies. So this is now possible in Germany. It will very soon come to India as well. Uh,
Okay.
then yeah, so there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work happening in IT for solar. So
Hmm.
we do like in So right now, I am working in improving decision making for end customers using AI. So,
Okay.
like, what has happened is now, see, like, as a layman, when he or she gets a proposal,
Hmm.
how do they know which proposal is good, right? So,
Yeah.
based on my experience, I created like a very simple 100-point system of various activities that you need to evaluate your system against. So, all they have to
Okay.
do is upload their proposal,
Hmm.
and the AI will evaluate it according to, say, the parameters and tell
Okay.
them points 50 out of 100 or 70 out of 100 or 80 out of 100. If you have three proposals, upload three proposals, AI will tell
Hmm.
you which is better, right? For
Great.
who?
Hmm.
And these things I'm creating just like a giveaway, you might say, right? And they can
Yeah.
actually understand what is good for them, what they can avoid. So there are a lot of potential for improving in solar operation and maintenance,
Yeah.
so across the value chain, across the value chain.
Is this product live right now?
It is. I mean, it is as a custom GPT. You can actually
Okay.
see it. I can share the link. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it live. Similarly, I'm also creating like a very simple tools, like how do you size your cables?
Hmm.
So just input some parameters and you get the final answer. Then how
Yeah.
do you actually evaluate your, input your project costs and based on the logic given, the AI will tell you where you can improve upon and so on, right?
Yeah.
So AI is not AI. Actually, it's like the back-end thinking is from my side based on my
Hmm.
experience. But then
Yeah.
specific cases, the AI will use that logic to help help out in that.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure because a lot of people, once they, mostly people do not know a lot about, they know the basics of it, but they usually Google or go to ChatGPT to ask like, how do I compare the proposals, what I should be
Yeah.
looking at, right?
Yes.
Quality wise, obviously they're not
Yes.
gonna go in depth research about what brand is
Yeah.
doing what. That would take a lot of time. So I think that
Correct.
in those cases, your platform can really help them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. And I
No,
think this
always a
this whole
pleasure.
talk was so insightful for any founder who has already started in solar industry or thinking to start. I think he has a lot of information on where he can go, specifically
Yeah.
with the government, references that you shared.
No, always a pleasure. Usha, happy to help. Let me know. Also, one more thing, if you need other,
Much,
uh,
Harsha, and always a
most
pleasure
welcome.
talking to you, honestly. And whenever this platform is ready, do let me know. Would love to, post it and for people's use so that they can just use it, obviously, to get more awareness and
Yeah,
make the decision making faster and hope that generate few leads for you.
most
So
welcome.
would
Sure,
love
sure,
to
sure.
spread it across.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, most welcome. Chalo.